Psychic Mist Paranormal Network.
Hi, this is Char with Psychic Mist Paranormal Network, and I decided to have an EVP session with one of the kings of hell. I'm doing a really crazy experiment tonight. I'm excited about it, but it's not your run-of-the-mill paranormal experiment. Then again, most of mine aren't. So tonight's experiment is a combination of ITC and EVP work, but with a special guest. A lot of you know that I've been a demonologist for many years, and that part of the experiments, they're kind of crazy, but they're very interesting. It teaches me a lot and gives me a lot to delve into. I've been doing pretty intense and extensive paranormal experiments for about 40 years now, and they just keep getting crazier and crazier, but you know, that's the only way that you can really move forward and make progress, make breakthroughs. So I'm actually going to have a session with Asmodeus tonight, and he is a powerful king of fallen angels. He is the fallen angel of lust and wrath. For some of you who might not know, I've had a lot of run-ins with demons since I was a kid, and I've learned to pick them out pretty good. So Asmodeus has been around me for much longer than I'd probably like him to be. But I decided to call upon him and ask him some questions. Asmodeus is no joke. He's very powerful, so please do not try this at home. I've come across Asmodeus before as he had come through on a mirror portal experiment, and some of you know about Josh, and he kind of works with Josh, or Josh works with him, and he calls himself Chris. But he's really Asmodeus, and he also goes by Asmoday. Chris, are you Asmodeus? Asmoday, in the name of Jesus Christ, answer me truthfully. Give me your true name. So in the last EVP, he called himself Asmoday, so I guess that is his choice of what to be called. And he also said at last. So he was acknowledging that I did figure out that Chris was indeed Asmoday. Depending on where you get your information from, Asmoday has several different spellings, and you'll see a couple that I used here. The one is Asmoday, and the other ending is Dai. So I used both of them in here just in case you're wondering about that. And if you're someone who doesn't know who Josh is, who hasn't been following that, I mean, I haven't put out a whole lot on that, but I put out some. He's one of the mass-based beings, a group of humanoid beings that I had discovered while working with portals. And I'll put the links in the description so you guys can check that out. I'll be doing a lot more on Josh in the near future. It's just a very long experiment. It's been going on for years, and I've learned a lot. So more of that to come. Something else I'm really excited about, I'm trying out a brand new ITC method. It's something I've developed myself, and tonight I'm putting it to the test. A big test. So back to King Asmodeus. I asked him a bunch of questions, and he gave me a decent amount of answers. Maybe not as extensive as I would have liked them to be, but interesting. I'm going to play them for you. A few of them might need a little bit of explanation. And then I also asked him to help me out with a personal energy instrumental transcommunication session. So I have a few pictures to show you there too, which I think you'll find pretty interesting. These EVPs are not in the order I obtained them from the session. They are in alphabetical order because that's how they get saved. So enjoy. All right. Any last things to say before we go and end the session?
And make some sense.
So Asmoday was going to say, how about if I make some stuff happen? But then he changed his mind and said some sense. I don't know, sarcastic humor maybe? Archangel Michael is Asmodeus back where he came from. Are there any other fallen angels that have been around me or want to work with me, and doing what? Are you capable of feeling love? Asmodeus, are you here with me? So this is an ITC picture of the word yes that came out at the same time. I asked Asmodeus if he was here and he said yes. This adds to the validation. Did I have some kind of connection with the dark side in a previous life, and if so, what was it? Do demons and or fallen angels like humans? Do you have any interest in working with me? And if you do, what is it that you would like to work with me on? Do you mind if I call on you again in the future? Asmodeus is used to working with me in the astral realms instead of here on the earth plane. How old are you, or can you give me an idea of how long you've been in existence? Do you prefer the black or silver mirror better to work with?
I think I can give you a complexion.
And this EVP is a great example of why you don't try this at home, because not only can they cause you great depression, they can cause you all kinds of horrible thoughts and horrible psychic attacks. Take my word for it. I know all about this firsthand. I want to thank you for coming. I simultaneously got this ITC picture that says TTG, time to go. The same time I got the last EVP you heard saying we're all through. But I will call on you in the future if that is okay with you. Is Satan the leader of all darkness? And if not, then who is? So I'm always asking about big questions like who is God, or the secrets of the universe, or the secrets that we know the leaders know that they don't tell us. And so that's what I'm referring to in the next EVP, those kind of secrets. Is there a way I can find out those secrets? Are you laughing at me because that was a funny question? Is this the first time you have been around me? So I asked Asmoday if this was the first time he's been around me, knowing that it certainly hasn't been, but I was curious to see what he'd say. Also, the part where they said give up or you'll be president, that actually has meaning for me, from different experiments, and not even just experiments, just working in the astral planes with Asmodeus. So it'd be really hard for me to try to explain that to you. It'd probably take like a whole other video to do. But I just wanted to let you know. And what he's actually talking about in a nutshell is being the president of the underworld, like, but not him. He's a king of the underworld. So it's just very complicated. Is this whole thing with fallen angels and God real, or was that something religion just created? What did the fallen angel who came to visit me when I was a kid want?
Answer your call.
What kind of offerings would you like in the future?
Expensive.
Just what you'd expect a king to say. Who is the true morning star? Lucifer, Archangel Michael, or Jesus? Or someone else? Why do demons possess people? So before we get into the ITC pictures, I just wanted to take a step back for a minute and show you a little bit about how I conducted the experiment really quick. This experiment in my kitchen, I have some things laid out here that I'm going to be using. And as you can see, it's not a lot. Excuse me for having other things in here too, because it is my kitchen. And even this stick I'm going to be using. So here are some shapes I had on the floor for various reasons, and these are the candles that I lit at the triangle with the offerings on the floor as well. And then I used a plasma ball for this particular experiment, and I'm going to show you why. Asmodeus' sigil is charging on the plasma ball. Ooh, look at that. You see the sparks? And the whole idea is to charge the sigil, to make it even stronger. You can hear it, listen. Alright, so we're going to charge that for a minute or so. So I had 3 candles lit in a triangle, and I asked Asmoday to flicker the one particular candle if he could give me some validation to my questions. So here's that. If you were there, can you flicker that red candle? Oh, you're doing it very hard for me, thank you. You do it once more? So Brielle, who helps me with a lot of my larger experiments, she wasn't helping me with this one. She said she came down once to see if I was done yet, and she saw that I was still working on it. But then she came in after I was done and starting to clean up, and this is what she had to say.
I came back here for a second.
Mhm.
I felt a very strong presence.
Very strong.
It's not here anymore.
So here are the ITC session pictures. So when I asked Asmodeus if he was here with me and I got the EVP response, yes, I also got this picture that came out at the same time of King Asmodeus in his human form. What I find interesting, though, is that there's a cross on his chest. So once again, is it sarcastic humor or is it some kind of mock? Don't know. Guess that's a question for another time. So here's that picture. And just one more thing I want to show you. So this is a comparison picture. Asmodeus introduced himself to me through a portal experiment quite a long time ago, and he called himself Chris, which I found out was Asmodeus, and I played those EVPs for you near the beginning of the video. So back then, he gave me a picture of himself, which was the top picture, and I have it outlined next to it. And then for this particular experiment, I got another picture, and that's the bottom picture, and I outlined that as well. It's kind of hard to see if they're exactly the same being, but they have a lot of the same facial features. So to me, I really feel that this is the same being. I just wanted to share that with you. So this experiment had a decent outcome. I was kind of going for something a little bit different, but I'm pretty happy with the results. I mean, I got some good EVPs, I got some good pictures, and I got some information. So that was a win. There were some repercussions from this experiment. He said something about causing depression. I did have a psychic attack, but I do some things that probably you shouldn't. And that's because I'm crazy. And I just like to advance my paranormal science and take into consideration that I do very advanced psychic protection. So it could have been worse. And I'm telling you this because I want you to think carefully before trying to work with any kind of negative entity or energy, and especially demons. I think that they can be very dangerous, and we kind of have maybe a mutual kind of working relationship, if you want to call it that. It's rare that I have a psychic attack happen, but it can happen. So you have to be prepared for something like that just in case. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is if you haven't had any experience working with dark entities, please don't, unless you have a very trained person with you. So I just want you to be safe. Thank you for joining me. This is Shar with Psychic Mist.